We are so excited to be joined by today's guest, pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, Jay Jackson. Welcome to the walk-off, buddy. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Oh, no problem. Glad to be here. I'm excited to be here. Too bad I'm
Yeah,
not up in
man.
Toronto with the boys, but
You're
yeah, glad to
chilling.
be on
You're
this one.
chilling on the deck there. You look good. You look comfortable.
As comfortable as I can be. I wish I was up there with the boys, but handling some family stuff here first. But yeah, comfortable as I can be.
Well, I mean, family first is an important kind of mantra. And before we kind of get into baseball talk and that stuff, like I mentioned, we have a bunch of listener questions. And one of the ones that came up the most, in fact, by far the most, is how's your wife and JR doing, buddy?
The wifey's, like I said, she's Wonder Woman. She's the one that's here dealing with all the info and seeing JR every day. But, yesterday was a good day again. So he's trending in the right direction still. He actually got taken off a lot of IVs and medicine that he was on. So it was kind of good for me to come home. And the doctor said it was probably good for me to come home too, just to make sure that he stays stable throughout that process, because taking him off those things can have his numbers just and body just up and down and everything else. So they're doing good right now. It's just, again, a day by day process, but they're both doing well right now. It's just, I know it's a little harder for her, but I'm glad that she's taking it as well as she has right now.
Well, we're so glad to hear that, man. I know most of the fan base is aware that your son was born 4 months premature. I know Mike Wilner of the Toronto Star wrote a great article on it, kind of
Yeah, he did.
detailing the last month or two of your life. I can imagine when you're there in the hospital and you're seeing everything that's going on and the technology and stuff. Is it a little mind-blowing? Like, just the fact that they're managing to do what they're doing?
It's unbelievable with the new advancements in science and technology and everything, and seeing what's going on and seeing how the nurses and doctors are handling him and how like he's getting better and pretty much growing inside there like he would be if he was inside my fiance right now. But I'm thankful for it mainly. I'm thankful and grateful for it that we have the technology and ability to do things that we are able to do right now, so that I see it and I don't have to fret as much. I don't have to, panic as much. I can kind of feel a sense of calm and be like, okay, like they're telling me what's going on. This is exactly what's going on. We can see what's going on. So it's nice to have that for sure, but it is mind blowing.
Well, we're really glad to hear that things are progressing in the right way, man. And of course, thoughts and prayers out to the family. And progress is going to keep being made, man. You can just feel it. So we'll talk a little baseball now. My wife and I were actually very fortunate that we got to be in LA last week and watch that Jays and Dodgers series, buddy. And you had like just a mind-blowing moment where you came out in the 9th and then again in the 10th, pitched scoreless innings. You got the win. Was that the biggest moment of the year for you?
I mean, so far, I think the biggest moment will be when we win the World Series later
There you
on.
go.
But
There you go.
right now, that was probably the biggest moment of the year for sure. It's probably the second biggest moment. Biggest moment is probably the day JR was born, and I was in Chicago for the doubleheader, and I got the win that day. But this is probably the second one. I was telling the guys, like, I love pitching against the Dodgers anyway, especially being a former Giant and seeing that rivalry up close in person. But I love pitching against the Dodgers, just their great lineup, and love pitching against Mookie and Freddie and those guys. And, just helping the guys get a big win right there. I mean, that win, I think, it helped us, just have some more confidence and get on a little streak for a little bit. So just helping the guys out and being there is just, that's the bigger moments. Just as long as I can be there and help us just, like I say, get over the hump and try to get this championship. As long as I'm doing that, they're all going to be huge moments, I hope.
How do you handle a big moment like that? Like, do you have a routine for quieting your brain? Because I know my brain in a situation like that would be very noisy and tough to deal with. Like, do you have tricks to quieting it down and focusing in on the moment? Or do you just ride the wave?
You kind of just, I've been doing it for a while now. So I've had moments, and you live and you learn through different moments. I failed at a lot of them. I've been good in a few of them, so they all go hand in hand. I think just from the experience of going through those moments and just ultimately it's trusting yourself. I think at the end of the day, I've been doing this so long that I feel like as long as I make my pitches, good things are going to happen. Bad things are going to happen sometimes, but good things are going to happen more times than not, just with the averages of baseball and just, the fact that I've been doing and seeing the good and bad of what could happen. I see that a lot more good's going to happen when I make my pitches than when I don't. So, you just go out there and try to trust yourself and see what happens. And like I said, luckily, like things went my way and we got a lot of like soft contact, some strikeouts, and got out of there. And we won the game. And like I said, winning a game against a team like that is huge. So I'm just fortunate.
Especially in the atmosphere that is Dodger Stadium. I know it was my first time there, and man, it has some magic to that place, just like a classic feel that a lot of other stadiums don't have. Do you have a favorite big league stadium?
I don't know. I haven't been to all of them yet. I think the first I went to the old Turner Field back in the day when I was growing up. That was obviously one of the, and then when I was in Little League, we went and played in the Cooperstown like Little Majors tournament up in New York with one of my like teams that I played with. And during that week, we actually went to Fenway Park. So I got to see Fenway. So that's one of my first stadiums I ever got to see too. And then I got drafted by the Cubs, so got to go see Wrigley. So I don't know. The Brewers Stadium.
Those stadiums are different, eh? Like those older stadiums.
They hit different. The newer stadiums, just going to T-Mobile was an unbelievable stadium. Rogers Center is obviously great. It's a great place to be. But I think probably my top two it's got to be Oracle.
Yeah, Oracle's
the Giants.
Beautiful.
That's yeah. And plus, I mean,
and you got to call it your home park, which is cool.
I got to call it my home park. It was my fiance's favorite team coming up, like as she was growing up. So, just a lot of stuff. And then, like I said, we won the NL West. Dodgers Giants rivalry that year. Like it was like a lot of things about that park have some good memories to them for me. So I'd say that's probably my top 2 or 3 as well.
So I think the biggest news for the Jays the last couple of days is the addition of Jordan Hicks to the bullpen and Paul DeYoung to the infield. And you've been the new face in plenty of clubhouses. In your experience, what is the dynamic like in a clubhouse when new pieces are added mid-season?
It's a sense of we're doing this to get better normally. Unless you're a team that's selling and whatnot, then you're like, okay, like hopefully I don't leave, or maybe I go to a better team, or we're getting pieces in to build around me and a couple other guys to try to make this thing better so they like me here too. But it's generally always like a positive experience because you're bringing pieces in to try to achieve the ultimate goal, which is win a championship. A lot of times you see front offices, they'll talk to guys too and see kind of how they feel about certain players throughout the process. Be like, okay, this is going to be a good fit or not. Like, see how guys like even take the news that the rumors that we might be getting a certain person, and the guys are like, nah, I don't know how he's going to fit here. And then you see they shift over to other guys and things of that nature. But normally it's a good thing. You just really want those guys to feel accepted, because if they're feeling accepted, they give you their best efforts. And if they're giving your best efforts, then it contributes to hopefully more wins. You know what I'm saying? We get Jordan Hicks. If he's happy and he's playing well, I mean, there's only a handful of guys that are truly better than him in the back end of a bullpen. You know what I mean? So, and then Paul's been a quality infielder for a number of years. He's hit some long home runs off me throughout the day. So I'm glad he's on this side now instead of the other one. But, and then Genesis just fit right into our bullpen. Has been lights out. He had a rough one last night, but it's been lights out. And just making those guys feel comfortable and confident that, they come in, get the job done. It's going to be a good atmosphere for them. Then we win games. And as we win in games, like I said, we win a championship. We're happy. Whole city's happy. Country's happy at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's ultimately what we're trying to do, is make these guys feel welcome, where they're going to come give us their best efforts, and just, we give them ours too. So it's just like a love relationship. You know what I mean?
Games like last night happen.
Oh,
What is the
100%.
best way to deal with that? I'm guessing everyone in that clubhouse just flushes it and forgets it. Like,
You have to. It's just a matter of just playing good baseball at this point, especially this late in the year, starting the second half, and just playing good baseball against the teams that we need to play good baseball against. We might not win every game, we might lose a lot, but playing good baseball, showing that we're competitive is just the main thing. As long as we play our game and keep grinding away, doing things that we're gonna do, then you have to flush the losses out because I mean you try to stay as even as you can. Like losses are gonna happen. You're gonna get your butt whooped, but hopefully you're playing good baseball while you get your butt whooped. If you don't, you look back, you make some adjustments and learn from what you did wrong and then go to the next day. I mean, if you hold on to a loss in a baseball season, we play 162 games. I mean, there's a chance you're gonna lose a lot of games. And if you hold on to every loss, then as you go on, it's going to snowball. I've seen that happen to a few teams where you hold on to a loss or hold on to a bad loss that splinters the locker room, and then you snowball. Where you have a lot of veteran guys on this team that enjoy being around each other. Where we have a loss, you flush it, go back and play some good baseball, get some more wins. Things happen. I mean, it's going to be a little different. We've lost a couple of guys to some injuries that help fortify our team, that give us good energy and help us win. You lose those guys, it takes a little air out of your cell and deflates you a little bit. So it's just getting back to where we need to get to and playing some good baseball and just taking that blip off the screen last night and going forward.
I know you kind of touched on it and you've been on both sides of it, but what is it like to go through a trade deadline and then at the end of the deadline still have everyone that was on the roster and have a few pieces added to bolster things? Is there a sigh of relief a little bit? Like, were there guys that maybe were on the bubble of like, oh man, I hope I'm still here?
No, I mean, 100%. Like, if you have a club like we have right now, where you see the energy and the feel and like how everybody's vibing together, you don't want to leave this. I mean, I'm pretty sure at sometimes during this whole process felt like I possibly was on the fence to get shipped out of here if something better comes along. I mean, and as a baseball player, you don't want to see that happen. But on the business side of it too, you're like, all right, I understand it because they're trying to make them better. And if they feel like they're going to get something better in return to help make their product better, it's understandable. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a sigh of relief when you're still there, especially if you're in a place where you feel comfortable and happy and you feel like you're doing a good job and contributing. Like, you definitely want to be there. You feel a sigh of relief when it's all said and done. And you look at our team now and that we've bolstered our team to a good degree and you feel good about it. So
it's pretty tough not to cheer for you, Jay. I mean, you have a level of perseverance that you have kind of shown throughout your career that not everybody has in them. I know positivity plays a big part in your game. I'd love to hear about your day-to-day thought process though, because you've put together a heck of a season, and it's kind of mirrored. This season has kind of mirrored your career. And I mean that with the utmost respect, just that there's been some ups and downs throughout this thing to get to the point where you're a trusted member of the bullpen. So how do you deal with kind of the lows that baseball throws you? Because baseball's not always fair, right? Like, there are times where your performance isn't necessarily why you're maybe being sent down. You just have options or whatever it may be. How did you develop the perseverance that you have currently at this state in your career?
I mean, I guess it's just going through everything for the most part. But it's just one day, I just kind of realized, long ago, but a certain amount of time, that like I just have to just trust in like the greater process of everything. I have to be happy with my day to day with myself first to understand that like I can't let other things affect it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's gonna be times where I get sent down and it might be because numbers or whatever else, and I might get called up and I'm not pitching well and somebody else is. I've seen it on both sides, and it's just like, if I let that affect me and what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, and like what goals I'm trying to reach, then I'm never going to reach my goals. So it's like taking like kind of a sense of peace, knowing that I've tried my best and I have to be happy as I can every day to even make other people happy to reach the ultimate goals that I'm trying to reach. Because if I'm sitting there being negative about those things, then it literally deflates everything I'm trying to do. But if I continue to try to be positive and work on like what I'm trying to get to that day, it might be okay, like just a down day and just trying to be happy that day. If I'm trying to be happy, then it helps other people around me be happy. And you get a sense of extra energy to a certain degree where you can accomplish more things. And so I try to just do that, where if I'm positive, then regardless of what happens, I can react positively to it, because I know ultimately I can't control the ultimate outcome. Because I mean, there might be some circumstances that might happen. You know, as long as I continue to do positive things and try to do my actions as positively as possible, then I should get positive results. If not, I can live with it, you know.
I like the idea though that energy is kind of contagious. Like you kind of touched on it, right? When you're around a positive person, you just tend to lean positive in a lot of cases, and it really does affect the clubhouse that way.
No, 100%. And that's what I try to do every day. I try to bring that and try to just bring that to the clubhouse, bring it to everybody I meet, just in general. Because like I said, if one person can like make a positive difference and give somebody else positive energy, then that person go off, and then you never know. And you spread that. And then like you said,
You're
it
playing
spreads the
telephone
locker
then.
room. Exactly. You spread it through a clubhouse, you spread it through just people in general. And I feel like that's what makes, you know, better things happen in just this world in general. You know, like you look at our clubhouse and you look, we have KK, Bo, Vlad, and you see a whole bunch of people that smile all the time. So it's a great atmosphere. And it's a bunch, like I said, it's a bunch of love and a bunch of happiness all the time. And it makes you want to be there. And it's infectious to the point that you see all the reporters and coaching staff and the people around us all the time, they're like having a good time too. And that's, you know, ultimately what I try to embrace is like, I'm playing this game because I love it. So I want to share that love and emotion and everything else with everybody else, because I want other people to love this game too. So ultimately it's just, you know, spreading the love and happiness that we can to, you know, hopefully somebody else sees me playing baseball and sees how much I love it. They go out and find what they love to do too. And, you know, change the world. You know what I mean? So it's just
I
finding
love
what
that,
you love to
man.
do, and then, you know, making the world a better place piece by piece and enjoying it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're positive, then you're enjoying stuff, right? So I mean, good or bad, you can only react to things. And if you react positively, then it should be good. Like you can change a negative like feeling to kind of a neutral feeling if you add positivity to it. So that's how I kind of try to react to everything.
Jay, when you look back, let's say 15 years, your mentality has changed since then, is my guess. This took a while for you to develop this.
It took a while. I think it was just like a couple moments in my life that just kind of changed it, where it's like, okay, I saw how I reacted before and I saw that it was negative, and like I saw that like I didn't get any good results from that. And then, you know, a couple of times I just was laying in bed or laying on the couch and I'd just be thinking like, okay, like if I could just have this happen, then I'll be happy with this. And then that thing happened and I was like, okay, I'm happy. Okay, if I continue to be happy, then what could possibly happen at this point? And so from there, it's just like, okay, I can only be happy with myself. And then if I'm happy with myself and people see that, hopefully, you know, they get that sense of being happy too and see how happy I am. And, you know, and that changed into every time I've been traded to a team or anything else, it's just like, okay, well, that's fine. That means like you didn't want me, so somebody else did. So I'm going to be happy that somebody else wanted me, and I'm going to go give them my best because they've shown me that they care enough about me to like accept me and try to love me and be happy with me. So if that's the case, then I'm going to be happy too. And I'm still playing baseball. So just take it as positive as possible.
Jay, I
Yeah,
love how many.
oh, sorry.
Sorry, I love how many of your answers for how do you do this? You're like, well, I mostly did it the wrong way to start with, and then learn from that.
100%. It's always a learning process, and it's always a learning process. And then, I mean, that's life though. Honestly, like life is just learning. And again, you can react negatively to it and take the process and take whatever lesson you get from it and treat it bad and either go down or up pretty much. You know what I mean? That's the way you got to look at it. Like you can't control everything that happens, but you can control how you take everything that happens. So if you take something in and push it back out positive, I feel like it's okay. So, you know, if you can take something positive in and turn it negative too. So I just try to take what I get and turn it as positive as possible and just see what happens. I mean, if you do good and give good to things, then hopefully you get good out.
So you had numerous chances to sign with other organizations since the Blue Jays originally brought you in the spring, and you decided to stick with the fold in Toronto. Is this what you envisioned when you chose to stick with this organization's big bullpen spots in August on a contender?
Yeah, that was the main reason when we first talked and they reached out to me during the offseason. They were actually the first team to reach out as free agency to tell me that they were interested. And so they told me that I was going to be a big part of this team. So that was the whole point, was to be a huge part of this team and be in big situations and, you know, just try to take advantage of those opportunities that are given to you. And hopefully I have been. And so hopefully I get more. Like I said, I want to be a part of something bigger, and I want to just be able to help whenever they need me to, big, small, whatever. I just want to be able to do my job and get us to a championship.
So it's wild looking at your baseball reference, man, because you have played all over the world. Like, it is really impressive, the places on this planet that you have thrown a baseball. So I'm going to name some places you have played, and I'd love to hear your impression of the place itself and what stood out to you about the baseball while you were there.
Okay.
So we're going to start with Buffalo, New York.
Very cold at the beginning and end of the year. Buffalo is definitely, I can see why people love it during the summer months, like the 3 or 4 months during the summer when it's not raining, and it's not cold. But I can see how people love their sports there. It's a great town. Great chicken wings too. As far as baseball,
I've heard, yes.
Yeah. So as far as baseball, when you get baseball in, it's good, but it's a little chill. I've had some good experiences there, but before I've actually played there this year, all my experiences there has been like, it's been absolutely miserable every time I've played. So it's gradually getting better for me in Buffalo.
Do you find, Jay, that you pitch better in warmer weather, or is the weather kind of irrelevant once you're in the game?
I feel like every pitcher will tell you they pitch better in warmer weather, unless I guess guys like lived and were born in colder weather. But yeah, I feel like I do. I mean, I feel like you feel looser, even regardless of how much you warm up. You just feel looser. And then me being older now, I definitely like warmer weather. But but it helps definitely a lot. And then for me, like humidity helps too, just with the being able to grip the ball a little bit better here and there. So warmer weather definitely helps a little bit, but it's going to be to each guy's preference. But me personally, yeah, I definitely love warmer weather.
Okay, well, in that vein, then the next on my list is Mazatlan, Mexico.
Loved it. That was one of my favorite places to play. I was kind of disappointed when they traded me to the other team I played for, Mexico, but that was my second year ever playing winter ball, and I got to live on a beach and just like, that was after I truly became it. That was the first year I became at peace kind of with being happy with myself and letting everything start falling into place. And that was the team that I signed with. So I was like, okay, it might be meant for me to play baseball if I get to live on a beach and play baseball after, you know, asking the man upstairs what his plan for me was. I was like, if you want me to play baseball, like just show me the way and put me in a situation where I can provide for my family enough to to have this be my career. And 2 days later, I got a call from Mazatlan. And I was like, all right, I guess this is what we're doing. I go down to Mazatlan, and it was amazing. Um, that was one of the happiest times I played baseball, I could say. So that's what I take from Mazatlan. It was happy. That was a happy spot.
How is the quality of baseball in the Mexican leagues?
During the winter, it's all there. It's kind of like the Dominican and Venezuelan winter leagues, where all their big name guys, it's kind of like their big leagues for that time. Their summer is like their minor leagues, kind of, and then you see a lot of big name guys going over there during the summer now. But during the winter, it's like all their guys, like their famous guys, come home and play. Like their big league guys will play to get ready for the next season and stuff. So for me, the quality of baseball during the winter league was always really good because you had their top guys normally playing unless the organizations didn't let them.
Okay, next on the list, Hiroshima, Japan.
Loved it. I love the culture over there. Baseball they played a lot more small ball, but I love the culture over there. Love the baseball. Love the people over there. Had a great time. The baseball was fun. It was, like I said, it was a lot more small ball though. Especially later in the games when I would throw in like the seventh, eighth, ninth inning, it would literally be if a guy got on, they're bunting him over and then trying to score like every time. It didn't matter. They might even bunt him the third. It was crazy.
How does that change your pitching approach? Like, how different is pitching to Japanese hitters? Are they approaching things a little differently besides just the small ball? Like, how do you approach that?
I mean, not necessarily. You don't approach them any different to a certain extent. Like you try to be more around the zone because they are more patient from time to time. But you just still, for me, I just try to attack and just again see what happens. I feel like if I throw a good pitch, no matter where, like what league, where I'm at, after I throw the pitch and if it goes where I want it to go, then there's nothing else I can do about it. Like if he makes a good swing on it or if he misses it, like whatever happens, happens.
You spent 4 years in Japan. Tell me about you then in 2019 went to the Brewers. So I'm curious about Milwaukee, your impression there, and how that played out. Did they come knocking on your door? Were you being scouted? How did you winding up in Wisconsin happen?
It's actually funny how that happened. It was actually disappointing. Not that I signed with Milwaukee, but it was disappointing that whole offseason, kind of like what happened because, I had 3 good years in Japan before that. And then after that third year, I was technically a free agent to go chat with any teams pretty much anywhere, I believe, because they told me I wasn't coming back, which was kind of weird because I had a good year. We won 3 championships. But, I didn't hear from any Japanese teams. I barely heard from any American teams. And I was like looking around and the numbers I had put up in Japan compared to some of the guys I had seen sign back in America, I was just wondering why I wasn't getting like, the same respect, I guess, however you want to put it. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to wait it out and see what happens. And I actually signed, and my son was born in 2000. My son was born in Japan, was born in 2018. And I actually signed with the Brewers like 2 days before spring training, like early February. And I had to fly directly from Japan all the way to spring training like the next day. So I had to pack everything up and go. So that was fun. But that's how I ended up there. And then it was kind of like, again, earning my spot there. It was kind of, I was like last man on the totem pole in AAA kind of thing. And then slowly climbed the way up. And then I had a good year. And then, it worked out. I was actually really, after that season, I was really hoping that the Brewers were going to re-sign me, but we just didn't end up working on a contract that we could agree on. The Japanese team, I went back to Japan after that just because they ended up offering me a better deal. So that was really the only reason I really wanted to stay with the Brewers after that, because I had a great time there. They treated me well. The Brewers fans were great. The front office there was great. It sucks that it didn't work out. Missed a couple more years of being in the big leagues here.
Well, we'll end on this one. And you probably know where I'm going with this, but Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
I love it there so far. I can't say enough, first of all, about the fans and the people that have shown so much support and love to me and my family throughout this process. And just from me being there and seeing how they've accepted me. But Toronto's awesome. I need to go explore it more. I need more information and ideas on where to eat and things to do while I'm there. I know it's hard for me to get out more places now just because I'm back and forth so much between there and seeing JR down here. But just the people I've met and the things that I've seen and how like clean and kind of peaceful it is there is it's amazing. And then the people love their sports. So that's so much fun to see how intense they get when you start talking about baseball or hockey, especially hockey, or you talk about the Raptors
Yeah.
or something like that. It's awesome to see how they embrace it and everything like that. So I love it. I need to get out more, but hopefully I'll be back next year and hopefully a year after. And, you know, I can get out and explore. Me and my family can explore some more and get to see more things about the city. But so far it's been nothing short of amazing.
Well, I know our good friend, and you've been on his podcast as well, Locked On Blue Jays, Craig Ballard. I know we're doing
awesome,
a live show, Baseball Town, that if you're around, you were planning on maybe coming down. And if you do, I will load you up with all sorts of places you should go and see in Toronto.
For sure. I appreciate it. Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely going to try to make it as long as I'm available and I'm there and I'm still with the big guys.
Well, fingers crossed, Jay.
That's it. But hopefully they still need me there and I'm helping. I'm serving my purpose to be there, that, you know, I'll be able to come by and stop by and see you guys.
Well,
and,
you're sure making a strong case for it, Jay. You're doing your job.
Awesome.
I'm trying my best.
I've got a question for you here, and I know what a broad question this is, but I kind of like asking experts in their field a broad question and just kind of seeing where they take it. But in your opinion, what makes a good pitcher?
Like from stuff wise or just like in general, like how broad
more in the general terms of things, because I know you have literally seen millions of pitchers, you've faced millions of batters, you've been in a bunch of clubhouses. What is there one thing that you can kind of draw a line through most successful pitchers that they have?
Competitiveness, a fire that they have to want to play and want to pitch, to want to compete against the other guy in the box. Like that's what all good pitchers have, is like they have that competitiveness. Like it doesn't matter if they're feeling down that day or if they don't have their best stuff or if they have their greatest stuff or whatever else. It's, I'm going to go out there and compete because guys respect that so much. And if you go out there and compete, like it's just in you as yourself to do that. And so I would say that competitiveness, just to be like, all right, like I'm out there like for the, not only for me, but for the boys, for the team getting this win. Like it's just something that like every great pitcher has. You can tell guys that don't want to be out there that day and they don't compete. And, you know, those guys normally don't have long careers. But if you go out there and just compete, a lot of good things happen. Because if you compete, I feel like you have confidence in yourself. And when you have confidence in yourself, you do more good things and more positive things happen. So I would say, yeah, definitely competitiveness is like the number one thing I would say.
I love that. Can you think of a example that exemplifies the competitiveness in a pitcher?
Oh, God. Honestly, as much as the Blue Jays, I mean, not the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, was Urias in the World Series, his first World Series, when he pitched like 4 games. Like he was a rookie or whatever, right? And that's impressive. Like that's you going to be just competitive. Like, hey, like you need me to take the ball. Like I'm gonna go out there and give you what I got, and they won. Like you know what I mean? You see it with Bassett every time when he had his baby, and then he goes out there, competes, and then flies back, and same thing. You know what I mean? I would say you could throw me in there when the doubleheader in Chicago, you know, we're going out there and compete. I'm not the greatest pitcher in the world, but I'm going to go out there and I'm going to compete. You know, I didn't sleep, had an extra inning game the night before, get to the doubleheader. We have an extra inning game the first game of the doubleheader. And then I pitched the second game and then try to get home, you know, and then, I mean, you see guys, you know, going through things, pitchers pitching hurt, you know, just battling every time. Romano going out there competing when his back's not feeling the greatest right now. You know what I'm saying? Those things. those guys are the guys you want to be behind. And those guys are normally the ones that you see help teams get to World Series all the time. Like I said, Urias is a prime example. Like they just wrote him out because he was out there competing, Kershaw over the past couple of years. He hasn't been able to pitch at his level all the time, but he goes out there and competes, Verlander, Scherzer, like you see them, you hear about them all the time. Like when they get out there, it's a different feeling. Like, they're going out there, going to work, and it's just a competitive fire that you're like, okay, like I'm in for a battle today, regardless. If he doesn't have 3 of his pitches out of 4, he's going to go out there and you might still get no hit with him throwing one pitch. You don't know how it happened, but it's just because he competed and just something in there. Like it's
yeah, the compete. Uriel is a great example. It makes me think of Mad Bum back in 2014 too. Just like
100%.
wants the ball
all the time. He's out there every time you saw the Giants pitch in a game or Mad Bum throwing 3s, throwing 4s, starting the next game. You're like, okay, are you okay? Like, no, just give me the ball. We're good. We'll figure it out. Like, but they won. I mean, they won 3 with him and Buster there. Like, not just as a pitcher, but having a battery where you both compete together. Like, as quiet as Buster was, and I'm glad I did get to pitch to him, as quiet as he was, the man's fire and how he went about his business was incredible. You know what I mean? I never got to meet Mad Bum, but you see, like, guys that just want to compete. Like, you look at that team I was on in 2021 with the Giants. We didn't have the greatest team, but we competed every day. And just like you look at this Blue Jays team right now that we had, if Tampa Bay doesn't get as hot as they do at the beginning of the year, we're right there too. We're right there with them, the Orioles. And you see it with us. We compete every day. Our pitchers compete. They've put a lot of guys. And I think that competitiveness comes, again, from a lot of the love and positivity and energy that we have with each other, that we enjoy playing together. So, that's the support. And, like, again, I thank those guys for allowing me to be a part of that too and help me bring out more competitiveness to want to be and play with them. So the support and love from them, the fans, the front office, like, it's unmatched for sure.
So we need you to confirm something here about the clubhouse, because there's a rumor going around that Tim Meza is the funny man of the clubhouse. Is he the funny man of the clubhouse, Jay?
Tim's got some dynamite one-liners. He has some dynamite drop-ins. Oh my God, Tim's awesome. He's quiet and then he'll just drop something like Tim. Like, it's awesome. Tim's up there. We have a lot of good characters out there, but Tim's one of my favorite people in there. Like, he's definitely a funny guy.
Awesome. Love to hear it. Who's the biggest ball buster on the team? Someone who teases a bunch.
Oh, let's see. Chappie has his days. Heineman will have his days too when he's up there. Oh, let's see. Ball buster. Romano will do it from time to time too. I think hitters do it more than pitchers do it, though. I think hitters do it to each other more than they do it to pitchers too. But Tim gets his balls busted a lot, though. That's funny. That's actually funny.
That's funny.
Everybody, all the hitters get on Tim for some reason, which is funny. It's hilarious. But I mean, it's just everybody just rags on each other whenever we all just do stupid stuff together. I mean, it's a big family. You know what I mean? When you have your brothers together, you're all gonna just goof around and rag on each other and bust each other's balls whenever you get a chance. Because I mean, you have to have that. And that just shows that you care about each other. You know what I mean? And you love each other and you want to see the best out of each other.
Okay, so we do have a bunch of listener questions for you, so we don't wish to, we better move along here. I'll give you one more question before we throw to Adam here for the listeners.
That's fine.
And I mean, you have been in dozens of different bullpens throughout your career. Is there one that kind of stood out to you as the most fun? And maybe most fun is the wrong way of putting it, but a bullpen where there was the most shenanigans, or you guys killed time in the most interesting way.
The couple times I was with the Braves bullpen last year when I was at home, like, we had this like little basketball goal that we would all just like do random stuff on. And that was a good bullpen. I mean, I would say any big league bullpen I've been on has been amazing just because of the hijinks and different people that you have in it. But let's
Because
see.
there is more
I think,
hijinks in a bullpen than most people think, right?
yeah, for sure. I think the Brewers bullpen I had a couple of years ago that's probably one of my favorites, just for the simple fact that I had Matt Ad, Matt Adams there. No, not Matt Adams. Matt Albers. I had Matt Albers there with me. We had Junior Guerra, me, Devin Williams, Josh Hader's hilarious in a bullpen. Like when he's like, especially when he's down that day, like Hader will start cracking jokes. He's not as serious, so it's awesome too. Um, this bullpen, we haven't had a lot of shenanigans yet. We have a lot of guys are focused right now. Like it's like we need to win this division right now, or at least like push forward towards that. So there's not as many hijinks right now, but you'll get random just jokes and random like little hijinks here and there. Like somebody takes somebody's hat, hides a glove. Somebody can't like takes them forever to warm up because they're looking for their glove for
Right.
like an extra 5 minutes. People are forgetting stuff, like knocking stuff over all the time. Like uh, it's just being outside and just being with your boys. Like you never know what's gonna happen. So a lot of the AAA bullpens I've been on have been amazing. Just the guys I've met through the years playing AAA in the minors, just like enjoying that life together, and you see and how you grow up with each other and just make shift of stuff, and the different games you see in minor league bullpens, like quarters and giving balls away for quarters, people giving um like rock paper scissors, things of that nature. Just you see how many kids genuinely come up and approach you more in a AAA bullpen than in a big league bullpen, so you get a lot more trash talking and a lot more kids coming up, and it's always fun to be out there. You don't get to enjoy it as much if you're in the dugout as you do in the bullpen. You don't get that interaction as much.
This insight has been great, Jay. Thank you so much. Honestly, dude,
Of
we could
course.
talk baseball with you all day long. I know that you
Here's
have
some
other
pancakes
things
waiting for you.
There's pancakes
Yeah.
waiting for you. So
Stepdaughter's been coming to the window looking at me while I've been doing this. Like, okay, like
teasing you
when are
while
coming to get
eating
these
your pancakes.
Yeah, I ate my pancakes. Exactly.
Okay, Jay, we're gonna throw to Adam here. We've got a few listener
Yeah.
questions for you. We'll let you get on with your day. Again, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, for sure.
All right. First one comes in from Forbesy Jr. Wants to know, how does it feel to be the first Jay to play for the Blue Jays? I did fact check this, by the way. We've had two Jasons in our Blue Jays history, but you're the first
but
Jay.
not a Jay. That's awesome. It's hilarious that I'm the first Jay. That there hasn't been another one, so I guess I get to be in Blue Jays history for at least one thing.
That's right.
Hopefully, I get. So, but it's awesome. Hopefully, once little JR gets up and old enough, he gets to become a Blue Jay too, and maybe he'll be the second.
That's right.
There you go.
We do love our bloodlines in Toronto, so who knows?
We sure do.
I'm hoping so. I hope he's better.
Maybe teach him to throw with his left hand, eh?
We'll see. You never know. I want him to play outfield or infield. So we'll see.
Hey, there you
Whatever
go.
he likes to do.
All right, next one comes from Original Blunt Smokin'. Says, hey, Jay, hope everything's well with your family. You've been pitching some of the best baseball of your career since coming to the Jays. What has been driving your motivation over the past few seasons, especially when playing time hasn't always been guaranteed?
Just the love of the game. Being able to play this game still and enjoy it. I've always said, I told my dad, and he's the one who instilled this in me, and then I reiterated that to him, that as long as I love playing, as long as I'm having fun playing, then I'm going to keep playing as long as they give me opportunities to. So the motivation is just, again, to show my love and appreciation of the game, because, God gave me the ability to do this, to show it and share it to other people. So the motivation is, like, hopefully, like I said, it inspires somebody else to either play baseball and have a love for baseball, or find their love for baseball, or just find their love in whatever they want to do, because they see how much I love the game as well. So that's the motivation. It's just to drive the next person to enjoy their life too.
Awesome. Okay, Mustard Tiger says, what is the toughest point of your career so far, and how did you push through
it? There's been different ones. I'd say through different stages of the career, there's been different tough points. There's a point when I think, what was it, 2009, 2010. I was really contemplating quitting baseball. So that was one of the tougher points because I got sent down from double A to high A after I had made the double A all-star team. So I was like, if this is what baseball is going to be about, then I'm going to quit. Didn't happen, obviously. But
But it did turn out that is what baseball's about.
True, for the most part. But from there, you go to, like I said, being engaged and having to plan a wedding and try to provide for a family on a minor league salary and not knowing what to do. And then again, trying to figure out if baseball is going to be the answer or if I'm going to have to go into another situation. That's a tough point too. And then I guess tough point was coming back from Japan and when I signed with the Brewers and not, having the offers I thought I should have when, I had a sub-3 ERA and stuff in Japan and things happen. And then tough point is being traded after being with the Giants and they pick up my option and then I get traded to the Braves. It's like, okay, like, did I do something wrong? Like, it's just, there's a bunch of tough points. It's just, again, how you react to those tough points to a certain degree. I could have, I could have quit, but you just push through them to, again, see the positive in it. Like I said, somebody else wants you. You still have a chance to play. I still love playing, so we're gonna just try to make the best of it.
Awesome. Okay, last one here comes from Mr. Krister. So your numbers this year have been off the charts, elite here. Your ERA 0.53. You have a WHIP of 0.706. Your ERA
you're not
plus
a big fan of giving up walks or hits. We like it.
You have an ERA plus of 800, which is just insanity. Anyway, so Mr. Krister says, is there anything specific that Pete Walker has done for your development / improvement? And if not, is there a teammate on the Jays that has had an impact on your development and improvement this season?
I think it's, again, the opportunity, one, and two, it's been the support that they've shown me, especially Pete. Pete's been unbelievable with his encouragement and the way he's treated me throughout this whole process. Even during spring training, they're like, we want you here. We like your stuff. And just being able to encourage me and give me the confidence to go out there and do my best. And like I said, them showing me that love and support has been able for me to be like, okay, like I'm going to try to make sure I give them everything I have. And I guess in that coincidence is these numbers have progressed themselves to be what it is. So I don't know if it's much of a development as much as it's the support and wanting to do my best all the time. I mean, and yeah, these numbers are great, but I mean, I feel like I'm not doing anything any really different than I have been in my whole career, just attacking and trying to get out. You look at, try to sustain this over a whole year. That's tough to have a 0.5. I mean, most guys aren't Felix Bautista, like, you know what I mean?
Is it
like,
hard?
That's tough. It's tough. You know what I mean? But you look at the years like I've had over the past, honestly, like 6, 7, 8 years, I haven't had a lot of years where I've had high ERAs. I've been in the 1s and 2s for the most part for the past like 7 years at the levels I've been in, especially at the highest levels I've had to be at those years. I feel like I've done that. So it's just been trying to just be that consistent. It's just trying to find ways to be better every day and trusting yourself. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's not necessarily things that they've helped with development, more of the support and everything they've given me to be confident in being myself. And I can't thank them enough for that. It's not only Pete, it's definitely the guys in the locker room. It's been the fans so far. It's been everybody, but especially Pete and the guys in the locker room just being able to be like, hey, Jay, hey, continue doing you. Like, we're going to be behind you. We support you. Like, we're going to, and like I said, we're locked and loaded. And like I said, we're trying to get this World Series championship. And I'm just trying to help as much as I can.
Jay, it has been an absolute pleasure to chat some baseball with you. All the best to you over the rest of the season and the rest of the boys in the clubhouse. All the best to your wife and JR, and we're rooting for everyone in the family. And again, all the best, and thanks very much, man.
No, thank you guys for having me, for sure. It's a pleasure being on here. Like I said, anytime you guys want me to be on or whatever else I can do to help, just let me know.
Absolutely, and fingers crossed we see you in Toronto in a month, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I definitely want to be there.
All right. Cheers.
All right, man. Take care of yourself. All the best.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you.